In the last class, we discussed about the Ampere's law. Now, in this session, we discuss about the determination of magnetic field intensity due to an infinite sheet of current by using Ampere's law. Let us take an infinite sheet of current along Z is equal to 0 plane. So, the surface current density is K bar. Now the current flowing along positive y direction. Hence, the current density K bar is represented as Ky Ay bar. The meaning of Ky means in the suffix we have to write the y. Why? Because the current flowing along positive y direction. And the A bar y represents the a unit vector. So, surface current density K bar is equal to K by Ay bar. Let us take a closed path 1, 2, 3, 4 having width B and height A, and this closed path is perpendicular to the direction of current. That means the direction of the current is along Y. So automatically the closed path is along XZ plane. So it will be clearly explained by using this figure. So this is the infinite sheet of current. So these arrow marks are indicates the direction of current. So the surface current density K is equal to Ky Ay bar. This is the closed path we have to taken here. The width of the closed path is B and the height of the closed path is A. Now this closed path is perpendicular to y direction or current direction. That means it is along XZ plane. It is along XZ plane. Okay. Now the direction of magnetic field intensity depends upon the direction of the current. So it is clearly from this figure. This is the figure. When you observe that, this is the direction of the current and the circular path indicates the direction of magnetic field. So here, this picture indicates the whenever, whatever we have to take the closed path. So this is the closed path and this is the direction of current that is along Hz. This is the direction of Hx. Here, when you observe that there is no y component, only x and z component, because whatever we have to take the closed path is perpendicular to y direction and it is lies along xz plane only. That's why here we have only hx and hz values. Okay, then what about hz component along positive and z direction? So this is the positive z direction hz component and this is the negative direction hz component. So these both directions are in opposite. So the hz component cancel to each other. That means it is clear the magnetic field intensity has no components along z direction and also it has no components along y direction. Why? Because current flowing through y direction. According to Fleming's left-hand rule, the direction of the current and the direction of the magnetic field are mutually perpendicular. That means the direction of y, that means the current direction is completely perpendicular to the direction of the magnetic field. So it is clear magnetic field intensity does not have components along Z and Y direction. So it is clear that H bar has only components in X direction only. That means the H bar means vector along X direction is represented as HXAX bar. The suffix meaning X represents the along X direction. Here AX is the unit vector. The minus HXAX represents this is positive X direction. This is the negative X direction. When you observe this figure, so this is HX, that is positive X direction. This is negative X direction. So automatically, when you observe the direction of magnetic field, both are opposite. So that's why the H bar along X direction is represented as HXAX bar, that is positive X direction, which is equal to minus HXAX bar, that is a negative X direction. Now, once again, we recall Ampere's circuit law. So what is Ampere's circuit law? The line integral of magnetic field intensity is equal to the total current enclosed in that path. The mathematical representation of Ampere's circuit law is integral H bar dot dl is equal to I enclosed. Okay. Now, first we evaluate the integral along the path 1, 2, 3, 4, 1. It is clear from the figure 1 to 2 and 3 to 4 are cancelled to each other. Why? Because these are Z components. So along Z there is no H value. That means it is clearly, it has component only along 2 to 3 and 1 to 4. Okay. So for the path 1 to 2, dl is equal to dz az bar. For the path 3 to 4, dl is equal to dz az bar. But H bar in X direction is Ax dot az bar. That value is equal to 0. That means it has no components along Z direction. So simply the integral value along the paths 1 to 2 and 3 to 4 values are equivalent to 0. Why? Because H bar component has no value along Z direction. That's why it has the integral value along 1 to 2 and 3 to 4 are 0. Now the remaining two paths, that is 2 to 3 and 4 to 1. So 2 to 3 H bar dl is equal to, so it is clear from the figure 2 to 3, it is along negative X direction. 1 to 4 is positive Y direction. X direction. So let us take. So 2 to 3, negative X direction means that is below Z. Already here we taken H bar component of X below Z is minus HXAX. Now substitute here. Minus HXAX. dl is the length along X direction. According to Cartesian coordinate system, dl value is equivalent to dxAX bar. So by minus hx is taken as plus hx by changing the limits. So here some mistake is there, 2 to 3 and the next is from 3 to 2. So we have to change the limits here. Then only the minus hx becomes to positive hx. Okay. Ax dot ax value is 1. So automatically hx is constant. So integral 2 to 3 dx. So what is dx? Length. That means the length between 2 and 3 point is. It is from the closed path. Clear that 2 to 3. 2 to 3. Length is b. It is clear. 2 to 3 length is b. So simply by replacing this by b and b value. So the integral value of h bar dot dl along 2 to 3 path is equal to bhx. bhx. Similarly, along the path 4 to 1, along the path 4 to 1, it is also equal to bhx. Now the total magnetic field intensity along x direction is equal to, by adding these two values, bhx plus bhx, that is equal to 2bhx. According to Ampere's circuit law, the integral of h bar dot dl value is equal to total current enclosed in that path. That means the integral of h bar dot dl value is 2bhx. So simply by equating 2bhx to I. Already the starting we taken as I value is kyb. Why? Because current is passed through the y direction. That's current value is equal to kyb. Now on both sides cancel the b value. Now the hx component is equivalent to half ky. Half ky. Similarly, the h bar value, that is a vector, is represented by half ky ax bar. Why here we write ax bar? Magnetic field intensity having components only along x direction. So its vector also represent in a unit vector having suffix x. Okay. Now the magnetic field intensity above z is equal to 0 is represented by 1 by 2 kx ax bar, and below z is equal to z less than or equal to 0 is represented by negative, so minus 1 by 2 ky ax bar. In general, the magnetic field intensity for an infinite sheet of current density k bar is represented as h bar is equal to half k bar an bar, where an bar is the unit vector normal from the current sheet to the point at which we have to h bar value is to find. So this is the final expression for the magnetic field intensity of a infinite sheet of current with the help of Ampere's law. And the next, this is also one of the application of the Ampere's circuit law. Determination of magnetic field B at the center of the rectangular loop having length L and width B and passing a current I. Okay, here we have to find the magnetic field B at the center of the rectangular loop having a length L and a width B and passing a current I. So this is the rectangular loop. So the AB length is L and BC length is B. Now, for the calculation purpose, here we have to draw two perpendiculars, MO and NO here. So, the MB value is exactly half of AB. So, AB length is L. So, this value is equal to L by 2. Similarly, N is the middle of BC. So, BC length is actually B. So, Bn value is equal to B by 2. Now, what is the total magnetic field at the center O? So, the total magnetic field at the center O is due to the sum of all four sides. That means magnetic field developed due to AB plus BC plus CD plus DA. So, this is the representation. The total magnetic field at center O is represented as B is equal to magnetic field intensity at AB due to side AB, next side BC, side CD, side DE. Now, we have to take initially one side, for example, AB. It is taken as a magnetic field at a point due to a straight current carrying conductor. That means we have to splitting the four sides as a individual one. Each and every side is act on a straight current carrying conductor. Already in Biot-Savart's law, we have to derive an expression for the magnetic field at a point due to a straight current carrying conductor is mu naught by mu naught by mu naught by 4 pi I by d sin phi 1 plus sin phi 2. Sin phi 1 plus phi 2. And next, here the length AB and CD, for the length AB and CD, D is equal to B by 2. And sin phi 1 and phi 2 values from this figure, sin phi 1 and phi 2. So these are the phi 1 and phi 2 values here. So whenever we draw a perpendicular, then automatically these two angles are also equivalent. So that's why sin phi 1 value is equal to sin phi 2. Why? Because MB value is also L by 2. AM value is also L by 2. So whenever two sides are equal, then automatically angles are also equal according to triangle law. So automatically sin phi 1 is equal to sin phi 2. So sin phi 1 value is AM by AO. So here the AM value is L by 2. AO value is, so this is L by 2. And OB or AO value is square root of, this is B by 2. This is L by 2. Automatically this is the hypotenuse. So whenever AOM and MOEB are equivalent triangles, then AO value is equivalent to OB value. So here it is clear that the MB value is L by 2. The MO value is equivalent to B by 2. So the hypotenuse value is equal to square root of L square by 4 plus B square by 4. So simply 4 is removed from square root. AM by AO value is equal to L by 2 by square root of L square plus B square by 2. So here 2 and 2 are cancelled. Here 2 and 2 are cancelled. So automatically we have L by square root of L square plus B square. So these are the values of sin pi 1 and sin pi 2. Now substitute the B is equal to formula. B is equal to formula. Already we discussed that mu naught by 4 pi I by d into sin pi 1 plus sin pi 2. Now substitute these values here. This magnetic field intensity of AB and CD value becomes to, here the LCM is the same. Now by adding numerators L plus L, that is 2L. So here the 2 and 2L values are cancelled. So mu naught by pi I by B 1 by square root of L square plus B square value is obtained. Now in a similar manner, we have to calculate the sides BC and DA magnetic field. In that case, the side breadth value is taken as a d by 2. The same manner, whatever we have to calculate in the case of AB and DC. In that case, we have to take the length value as considered here. Length we have to take in here. For to find the values of magnetic field intensity along AD and BC, we have to take the value of B by 2. Just replace the L by 2 value in place of B by 2. So here, this is the magnetic field intensity of BC, and for DA value is equal to mu naught by pi I by L B by square root of L square plus B square. So finally, we got the values of all four sides. Now the magnetic field intensity at the center of the square or a rectangular loop is the sum of magnetic field developed by the four sides. So this is the AB side, BC, CD, and DA. By adding all these four values, the final value or the resultant magnetic field intensity at the point at the center of the rectangle is B is equal to 2 mu naught by pi I square root of L square plus B square L square plus B square by LB. So this is about the magnetic field intensity at the center of the rectangular loop. So next class we discuss about the Maxwell's third equation, that is the point form of Ampere's law. Del across H is equal to J. So when you will discuss that point, we have to complete the third chapter, first part, and the next part we will next class we will discuss it. Okay. Thank you.